Earlier we talked about recognizing hands with pegging potential. And this is very important. When you pick up your cards, there are certain cards that have pegging potential. You need to realize it when you look at them. And you need to understand there's a certain way to play them. Oh, as Donald Smith pointed out to me earlier tonight, there's one of your lesson plans that say that there's a correct way and an incorrect way. Well, the incorrect way should end with an S. Because if you take 4 cards, there are several incorrect ways to discard. Several incorrect ways to peg. So, and generally there's one correct way. So, but let's take a look at these quickly. I think I got them on the board here about the same way they are on your lesson plan. 5-3. The first 2 I show are 1, 6, 7, 8 and a 2, 6, 7, 8 common hands. And we get a Jack, Queen, King lead. What does the Jack, Queen, King lead? First of all, tell me about the person's hand.
Aces or 5s and faces.
Do you think he's likely to have a deuce straight? A 1-4? No, not likely. He may have one, might have a lone ace in there. Because against 3 face card, it wouldn't lead the lone ace. But as a rule, it's a sign that we're safe to hang on to this one small card. So we drop our 8 on the 10-point lead. And then the count goes to 18 and 28, and we drop our deuce or a 1 for 29 or 30. And it go. Now see, we've still got the 6-7 left. Still got the 6-7 left. If he's got 2 5s, we've got him trapped every time. If he's got 1, it's a little tricky. A little tricky to get it. But if he's got 2, we got him trapped. And so this is a good way to play that. And don't get hung up in this idea of making the count 11. When you're the dealer, making the count 11 is on a face card lead, not with these other cards. Not with these cards here. There is an argument if the hand looked different to make the count 11. Like maybe you had a 1-4 with 2 kings and you couldn't pair or didn't want to pair, then you make the count 11, you might pick up a 31 for 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 10-point lead. Why did we put the 4 on it? 10-point lead. I've got 2, 2, 3, 4. Why would I put the 4 on the 10-point lead?
I'll make it 24.
Yeah, and I make it play the 2 deuces together.
Exactly. I want the count to get to be 24 so I can play my 3 for 27. And most of the time we're going to get a go, so we play 31 for 4. Here we got 2 4s. Similar hand. And we put the 3 on it. Because we want to get the count to what?
23.
23. So we can say 27, and they say go. 31 for 4. The first card you play here sets the stage for your later pegging. If you put the wrong one out there, you've destroyed the pegging value of the hand. Now remember, these are for the dealer. Yeah.
You could back up one hand. I'm still thinking about that. The 2, 2, 3, 4. It wouldn't necessarily be wrong to play the 3 on the 10, would it?
No, it wouldn't be.
If
It wouldn't be.
If he's got it, if he can make 15 with the 2, then you've got the options
Yeah.
to whether to pair him, which you probably would.
And you take the 2 for 29.
Yeah.
Play the other deuce for 29.
Well, if he's played the 10, you play the 3. If he makes it 15 with his deuce, then you've got the option of making a run of 3 or the pair.
Mm-hmm.
If he puts down another 10 card, you can make it 27 with the 4 and get back where you were.
Yeah. So what Todd's point is here on that hand, you could play either the 3 or the 4, and actually the pegs would be equal either way. You'd get 2 at one point and 2 later, or you'd still could get 4 on the end. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Raz, you're still missing something here. If you play the 4, and he has a 4, and you make it 27 with your 3, or you end with, what'd you lead the 4?
10 is lead. 10 is the lead.
No, on the 2, 2, 3, 4.
10 is the lead. Put the 3 on it, makes the count 13. Then it goes 23.
No, the one above it.
One above it.
The same idea.
What Todd was saying though, if you lead the 3. you
Well,
gotta
we
make
don't
the-
have the lead. We're playing second.
I know it, but if
Okay.
you play the 3, your first play, you gotta use the 4 for 27. That gives him the opportunity of 31 for 4 if he pairs you. If you lead the 4, like you say, the count's 27.
Mhm.
If he has the 3, he only gets 3
Yeah.
instead of 4.
But he would have led with the 3, he wouldn't have led with the face.
Well, that's the
Some
idea.
players.
Is if
In
you got a
grassroots, you never know.
generally, if they've got any small card other than the 1, they would lead it in preference to the 10 pointers. But so anyway, there's 2 ways for the 1 to work, and these will work if you're holding these cards as the dealer. They'll work a high percentage of the time. And here we've got 4, 5, 6, 6. This is called a mid-card trap. We have an 8 lead, and we got 2 6s and a 5, 4. Mid-card trap. You have great advantage by playing the 6. And at first, I did this twice in one game to George Stanton when I used to come up to your club. And he was talking to himself. He said, I never had this done to me before. Because you get if they got the standard kind of a hand with mid cards, you got a terrific advantage when you lay the 6 down. They'll stare at the 6 for a while, generally take 3 rather than pair the 6, but once in a while you get somebody who's read that if you got to do that, it's safer to take the pair because there's only 2 6s left. So they take, but if they put the 7, you play the 5 for 26, which is a run of 4 and invariably a go. So you play the 4 for a run of 5, you got 9 unanswered pegs. 9 unanswered pegs using this hand this way. Now, if they get wise and they've read something that's been written somewhere that rather than making a run of 3 for a count of 21, that it's better to pair the 6 for a count of 20. Then you triple the 6 for 6 and a count of 26, and they say go, and you play your 31. So instead of getting 9, you only got 8. Okay. So try that, you'll like it. Now it's true, I suppose, if you've got a terrific, I like to play this hand this way most of the time on the board. But I suppose there is some argument someplace, somewhere on the board, to play defense and to play the 4. Don't watch me too often to do that. I think the advantage rests pretty heavily on playing this hand from the other end. So,
If you were playing defense, you wouldn't play the 4 though, would you, on the 8?
well, you
Would
probably
play
get rid of
five?
the
You're playing
5.
desperation,
Yeah, split the
okay.
run.
4 or 5.
That's a very good point. If you're playing defense, split your sequence. Split your sequence as early as possible in the play. And thanks, Todd. That's very good. If you don't know what to play and you're playing defensively, drop a card that splits your sequence. You see?
That's the hand that bit Eric Locke on the ass last year in the long match, though. I dropped my 5 on his 8. He went ahead and played the 7. No, he went ahead and played another 8 or something. I don't recall, but I came back with my 7 and made a long run out of him, and he kicked himself for not jumping in and taking the points he could. Because I
Okay.
end up with a long run because, you know, you can't always be sure how your opponent's going to play that. But yeah, normally you're right.
Okay.